On May 25, 2020, George Floyd was killed at the hands of a law enforcement officer. The Justice Department has since convicted 4 former Minneapolis police officers. The Justice Department had opened a separate civil investigation into whether the Minneapolis Police Department and the city of Minneapolis engage in a pattern or practice of unconstitutional or unlawful policing. We found that MPD and the city of Minneapolis engages in a pattern or practice of using excessive force, unlawfully discriminating against Black and Native American people in enforcement activities, violating the rights of people engaged in protected speech, and discriminating against people with behavioral disabilities when responding to them in crisis. MPD officers discharge firearms at people without assessing whether the person presents any threat, let alone a threat that would justify deadly force. In 2017, an MPD officer shot and killed an unarmed woman who he said had, quote, spooked him when she approached his squad car. The woman had called to report a possible sexual assault in a nearby alley. Our review found numerous incidents in which MPD officers responded to a person's statement that they could not breathe with the version of, "You can breathe, you're talking right now." We also found that MPD officers failed to intervene to prevent unreasonable use of force by other officers. We found that MPD unlawfully discriminates against Black and Native American people in its enforcement activities. MPD stopped Black and Native American people nearly 6 times more often than white people. We found that MPD violates the rights of people engaged in protected speech, including by retaliating against protesters as well as members of the press. On May 30th, 2020, MPD officers encountered journalists who were sheltering at a gas station. One officer approached a journalist who was filming while holding up his press credential and shouting, "I'm press." The officer forcefully pushed the journalist's head to the pavement, and when the journalist held up his press credential again, an MPD sergeant pepper sprayed him in the face and walked away. We found that MPD, along with the city, discriminates against people with behavioral health disabilities when responding to calls for assistance.